So this video is not about the product on screen, but it is about the product on screen and about other products too that we'll take a look at. Give me 1 second while I pull this up. All right, cool. So electron products are pretty costly, but recently, I guess with the tariffs and things of that nature, they've gone up a couple $100 here, $300 there, which seems like not a lot, but to most people that is a lot. And we saw recently the TE actually did this cool thing where they're going to be dropping prices substantially low. I think like 30% on most of their items to allow people the opportunity to get, which is incredible. So to be fair to them, that is really good. I'm glad they're doing that. But let's talk about the elephant in the room. The problem with most of these products are the price versus what the quality of the actual instrument is. So in the past, it used to be you paid a higher cost to get an item because the quality was there. And we have this term we use now called boutique, right? Boutique pedals. I used to look at those when I was more playing guitar. And I always said, oh man, I want this boutique pedal. It's hand wired. It's this, is that. It was all quality assured because there was a more attention to detail. Well, now we are in the era of high-end products that are boutique, like Teenage Engineering, the Electron stuff, that really are not giving much attention to the detail. The components inside are either being cheaply done or they're still using machines to put these together and not really hand doing these type of items. And in this way, they can still produce product pretty fast, hit the masses with it, and still get paid a nice chunk of change. While I don't hate that or think that a person should make money, they should for the product they make, I find it interesting that the prices on these things don't match the quality anymore. You kind of come to expect that when a product is boutique, that it should work flawlessly. But have you noticed yourself, perhaps even, that a lot of companies are using the people who actually purchase their product as beta testers practically for free? Now, Teenage Engineering and Electron are not the only ones doing this. So that's why I say it's not about the product on screen that you see. It's about any company that are choosing to do this. One that I recently like a lot is Torso. But the S4, while it's an amazing device, is still being worked on. And so many people are mad because after a year or so, they feel like it should have been put together well and done. And you know what? They're not wrong. It should. But unfortunately, we're in an era where buying products that are incomplete seem to be the natural. Another clear example of that a lot of people, I'm not even sure if they sell it. Let me see. That a lot of people, here we go, are talking about and looking into is this product, the 1010. Now, granted, the 1010 is a $900 device. I think it's priced right. But the problem is the fact that it's not complete. There's a bunch of things missing. The audio tracks, the MIDI tracks. Wait a minute, that's half of the stuff that I need to do to use the machine to its fullest. And unfortunately, that's kind of where you're stuck. You're buying this product at that price with the thought that they will later fix it. But what happens when that company bellies up? Or what happens when they don't follow through with what they said they were going to do? Then you're stuck with a product that is devalued, that is no longer worth $900, but maybe it's only worth $500. So you took a loss on a bet that this company would provide more than what it offered at the beginning. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in. And that's where devices are from an electronics stance. Now, each one of these devices offers something special. TE is more of a cool factor. It's a design company first who makes cool designs. And they are appealing. I will say I've had it twice now, and every time I look at it or somebody makes a cool little song off of it, I get tempted again to look at it. But that's the point. They're a design company first, so they're going to appeal to design. 1010, on the other hand, does not necessarily appeal by their design, but just the portability and the reasonable cost. See, I think their cost is reasonable. The problem is it's not complete. So you're buying a reasonably priced product that is not complete, and you have to accept that. And when it comes to Electron, we know that they have the best sequencer. There's no question. Their sequencer is phenomenal. But this thing does not, without overbridge, you can't get your music out. And unless you just record it out directly, it becomes more of a live tool versus they never really made the ability, in my opinion, which should have been to stem out your tracks. That is also true with the TE OPXY. They haven't made anything where you can stem out the tracks. So you're kind of left hoping and wishing for things that maybe in a year, maybe 2 years, you might get it. Now, these companies have been around for a little bit now, so they are reputable companies that I would say you probably could trust they're going to do it. But we don't know that because the turn of events could easily change and they become not so important anymore. And people don't have money for food, so they get rid of them at a lower cost, or they just stop buying because of the upkeep of, not the upkeep, because of the prices jumping up so high, which is why I would probably not buy that myself. It's just too expensive for what it does, and it lacks in certain things that I would like it to do. So that's just one product, but that goes the same for this one. As much as I love the sequencer in this thing, there's a lot of stuff that makes me not like it. And some of the simplest things that they've added to it have become more of a boredom for me. I get tired of the instrument really quick. And especially when I think about the price versus what it is able to do at its present. So you might say, well, that could be true of any instrument. You can get bored with it. You're right. But when the price meets the quality of the device, you're less likely to feel like getting rid of something, or perhaps this is not worth the investment. You should feel like when you invest in something that it is worth it. Not just from the fun factor, because the fun factor, it could be on any device. Any device has at least one thing that can be fun to do with it. But is there a keep factor in that? This device was definitely worth the money. So my encouragement is to try things. Commit only if you really see a long-term future of you using something. If you don't, for any reason, then it's probably not worth buying it. Now, you can always buy, sell, trade, etc., etc. That's always an option. But I'm just speaking on my own thoughts with regards to why these high-end boutique companies that produce these items don't produce with quality. And why are we in an era where everything is coming out as a beta? Because beta testing is usually what is done behind the scenes and then brought out to the public. This is also true of the Push 3. So this is just so you don't think I'm picking on one company. Oops. Let's see if it pops up. There it is. So many people, including myself, recently have picked up the Push 3 standalone, only to find out that half of the features that are supposedly there, or at least you think it will be there for this kind of cost, are not there, which in turn makes it sometimes not worth having. Now, I didn't pay this price for it. I bought it used, and then I ended up letting it go or back to the original owner who bought it from for the same price. So I didn't lose any money, right? This particular controller, I think, is more worthy for this price. It's still a little steep. And of course, I would love to see it around $6.99, which I think is a better price for it. But it's still better than this because the internals that they put in this are old. An Intel 3, we're on an Intel 9 at this point, probably, I think, at the recording of this video. So in my opinion, having standalone with a 2-hour battery is not really good. And that's just my opinion. Look, I love Ableton. I use it. I have Ableton Live 12 and it's sweet and I love it. But when it comes down to it, I gotta be honest. The gear that we have these days just doesn't meet the price point of where it comes in at. And it's kind of heartbreaking in some ways because you want to believe and invest in companies that you think will make things that you will use forever. But that's not always the reality. And so you accept it when you buy it or not. And if you don't, you're going to end up returning it or selling it, right? At a little bit lower cost. That's the nature of buying gear these days. So I highly suggest buy what you are thoroughly interested in and willing to hold on to for the long term. And in that case, maybe you have made the right investment. The price becomes obsolete if you are that person that holds on to your items. That being said, I'd love to hear what your comments are on boutique items as well as just other items that you may be interested in and whether you think the prices are worthy based on what you're getting. So hit me up in the comments, hit the like button if you like this type of conversation and talk. And we'll keep it 100 when it comes to that. And at the same time, enjoy what you have, right? And make music because that's what it's all about. Even if it's just an iPad and that's what you use. All right. Until the next one, I'm out.